Today is the second day of Iyar, and the Tanya for today begins at the beginning of Perek Mem Dalet, chapter 44. Until now, in the earlier chapter, the Alter Rebbe explained the two levels of Ahava, the two levels of love, the higher level and the lower level. Ahava Rabbah is the higher level. It comes from above, not as a result of one's understanding and contemplation. And this comes necessarily after he's already arrived at some level of fear of God. And then there's Avas Olam, which is the lower level of love that is connected and limited to the world, to the condition of the world, and because it comes through the contemplation of the greatness of God within the world, and therefore the love itself is also limited and finite, unlike the higher love, which is infinite. Now in Perek Mem Dalet, the Rebbe will explain that there is a kind of love that incorporates both advantages, both elements, both aspects of the higher love and the lower love, of Ahava Rabbah and Avas Olam. Ahava Rabbah, again, is an infinite love that comes from above. Avas Olam is a finite love that comes through human effort. Each of them has an advantage. The higher love has the advantage that it is unrestrained. It's an infinite love. The lower level love, Avas Olam, has the advantage that it involves the person more. He knows what he wants. He has a certain desire, a certain striving to get closer to God, and it moves him in a more personal and a more intimate way than the infinite love and the unconditional love that comes from above, but is not as deeply personal to the person as the lower level love, Avas Olam. So here in Perek Mem Dalet, the Rebbe says that there's a love that incorporates both. Hinei kol madregas ahava mibeis madregas elu. Both levels of love, Avas Olam and Ahava Rabbah, both of them are nechlekes lekamo bechines madregas le'en ketz. They can be divided. Each one of them can be divided into endless, various levels and madregas. Kol chad lefum shiura delay, each person according to his measure. In other words, you can have many people who are in the level of Avas Olam, the lower level love, and yet there's a great difference between them, because each is experiencing this Ava according to their own measure. And the same is true with the higher level Ava, that there can be many people who have the same Ahava Rabbah, and yet it's not the same within them. Each person experiences the love according to his measure. As he writes in the Zohar, Al Posuk Neida B'Sharim Bailo. He says in Mishlei, Neida B'Sharim Bailo, which means simply that her husband is known in the gates, is famous in the gates of the cities. So the Zohar explains that Bailo is a reference to God, because God is the husband, and Knesset Yisrael, Jews, are the bride. So Bailo is a reference to the Eibishter Do Kuchabrichim, who is called Bailo. And Neida B'Sharim, he is known in the gates. The Zohar translates that to mean, Sha'arim means gates, it also means measure. So Neida B'Sharim Bailo, God is known by the various measures of the various people, according to the measure. The Ihu is Yada v'Izdabeik l'kol chad l'fumad Meshayer belibet. That God is known and is attached to each person depending on the person's measure. And that's why love and fear are called Hanistoris L'Hashem Elokeinu. The Pasuk says that the hidden things belong to God, and the revealed things are for us and for our children to do. So what are these hidden things? Love and fear of God. Because love and fear of God depends on the knowledge of God, and that varies even within the categories of love. We know, for example, that these two people both have Avas Olam, or that they both have Ahava Rabba, and yet, between the two of them, there are differences. So there's a mysterious element in the love and the fear that a person has, which can't be pinned down and can't be predetermined. You can't say how the person is going to feel if he has Avas Olam or if he has Ahava Rabba, because within each of them, there are so many various shadings and so on. So that's called the hidden things. That is revealed and known only to God. The Torah mitzvahs, whereas Torah and mitzvahs, hein hanigles lanu levanenu, that's what is revealed to us and to our children. La says to do, because when it comes to doing, here it's the same for all people, and therefore there is no mystery there. We know exactly how the tefillin are made, and anybody who puts on tefillin puts it on the same way. So this is the revealed part of Torah, of Yiddishkeit, whereas love and fear of God is a mysterious thing. And as he says in the Zayah, the iu yisyada, the isdabek, the kol chad mad mishayir belibe, that not only is the knowledge of God, not only does that vary depending on the measure of the person's capacity for understanding, but the isdabak, the love which makes the Jew cleave to God, also varies. And of course, one depends on the other. Depending on the knowledge, depending on the das, to that degree there is the love. And even in Ahava Rabba, which we say that it comes from above, it is given as a gift, it doesn't come as a result of the contemplation. Why then should it vary from person to person, since it doesn't depend on his understanding? But the truth is that there can't be any love without das. Das is the vessel which contains the love. Without knowledge, love means nothing, has no meaning at all. So that even this love that is given from above can't exist without das. So the meaning of the love that is given from above is that the knowledge and the appreciation for that level of godliness, which is the higher level of love, that appreciation and that das is also given from above. And that's why, to the degree of das that is given from above, to that degree there will be love that is given from above. So even the higher level of love, which is a matana, even that varies from one person to the other, because the das varies from one person to another. It's a different level of das, and therefore a different level of love. So we see that in these conditions of love, the two categories of love, the higher and the lower, there is the mysterious element which it can't be predicted because it varies from person to person, whereas in the doing of Torah and mitzvahs, here there is a common measure. There's no mystery here. It's revealed because in mitzvahs we're all the same. Because we have only one Torah, one measurement when it comes to doing. When we're doing Torah and mitzvahs in action. Whereas in the love and the fear of God, the love and the fear depends on the das as Hashem shebemeach v'lev. It depends on the knowledge or the attachment that one feels to God in the mind and the heart. As mentioned before, therefore there can't be a single measurement. You can't predetermine what the person should feel. There is one love that includes, that incorporates both levels, both madreges, the higher and the lower, Ahava Rabba and Avasel, where we bring together the advantages of both loves. And this is equal for all Jews, and it's an inheritance that we receive from our Aves, from the patriarchs. In other words, it comes from above, while at the same time there is a need for contemplation in order to bring it out, as I'll explain. The pasuk in the Navi says Nafshi, my soul, ivisicha, I desire you, I long for you, balayla, at night. So the Zohar explains that there must be a deeper explanation here because the grammar is incorrect. Nafshi, my soul, desires you at night should be written. If you want to say my soul desires, then the word should not be ivisicha, which means I desire. It should be ifsach. My soul desires you should be nafshi ifsach. My soul desires you. But ivisicha means I desire you. So if you read the verse, nafshi, my soul, I desire you, it doesn't make any sense. So the Zohar explains that nafshi means God. Not my soul, the soul that is within me, but nafshi is a reference to God. We're addressing God. And we're saying that he loves God with the love of the soul and the spirit, love of the nefesh. Just as the soul, the nefesh, cleaves to the body, and the body loves the nefesh and the soul. In the same way, Zehu Shekosov Nafshi Ivisicha Kleimar, which means Pnei She'ato Hashem Nafshi, because you, God, are my soul, V'chayei ha'amitim, you are my true life, Lokach Ivisicha, therefore I desire you. So Nafshi is addressing God, and we say to God, you are my soul, and I desire you. Pirush, this means Shani Mesave v'toiv loch. The pasuk is saying, I desire and I long for you, ka'odam ha'mesave l'chayi nafshi, like a person who desires and longs for his life, for his own life. And we feel this and we sense this when we are weak and when we are pained. That's when we see that a person desires and longs for the return of his health, meaning the return of his life. And also when a person is going to sleep, where he feels exhausted and he needs to be refreshed, that's when he feels a desire for life. He longs and he wants that his soul should be refreshed and should be returned to him when he'll wake up from sleep. So the pasuk is saying, Nafshi ivisicha, you, my soul, I desire you, just like a person desires life, because life is the greatest of all pleasures. Life itself, being alive, is the greatest pleasure. And that's why we see that all other pleasures the person is willing to sacrifice and forgo in order to be alive, because the desire for life, meaning the pleasure in life, is greater than all other desires and all other pleasures. And we see this most clearly when a person takes a medicine or goes through an operation. The medicine is very unpleasant. The operation is very unpleasant. It is the opposite of pleasure. And yet it is all worthwhile in order to have life, because life is the overriding and greatest pleasure. The only thing is that a constant pleasure, it says, tainuk tmidi ene tainuk. A constant pleasure is no pleasure at all. When we become comfortable, we become familiar with the pleasure, we lose appreciation for it. When do we regain this appreciation? When do we rediscover the appreciation? When it's denied. When life is denied, when life is threatened, when he feels like he might lose it, that's when he realizes the pleasure that he has and the longing that he has to have life. So when a person is weak and sick, that's when he desires life most. And when a person goes to sleep, when he needs and wants to awaken in the morning, that's when he appreciates life the most. So in the same way, nafshi ivisicha, the pasuk is saying that there is a love that a Jew has for God, which is similar to the love that a person has for his own life, for life itself, because God is our true life. So the Pasuk is saying that just as a person longs for life, so does the Jew long for God with a desire and a longing, because God is the true life, the life of all life, and He wants and He desires to bring it and draw it into myself, this life from God, through the study of Torah. That's how we bring life into ourselves. When I wake up at night and desire to learn. Why when I wake up at night? Because during the day, the learning is part of the mitzvah. The obligation to learn whenever you have free time. Waking up at night to learn is not a fulfillment of some obligation. It is rather the pursuit of a love. The love is that strong that he doesn't want to wait until the morning. He wants it now. And also, that's when we appreciate it the most. When we learn during the day, that's normal. And like life in general, we don't appreciate it when it's normal. When do we appreciate the life of godliness, the true life, when there's a time when ordinarily we wouldn't be learning and we wouldn't be cleaving to God or involved with God? That's when we feel the most the need for godliness. So it wakes him up at night and he wants to learn and wants to study Torah, because because Torah and God are all one, and that's why it's through the study of Torah that he becomes closer and he draws the life, the true life, which is godliness, to himself. And therefore, just as the appreciation for life comes only when there is something new happening, when there's a break in the routine, in the same way when a person studies Torah, he has to experience it as a new thing. It has to be fresh. It has to be a new excitement, otherwise the excitement is lost and not appreciated. As the Zohar writes there, the Boi Banash, that it is necessary, it is appropriate for a person, out of love for God, not out of obligation of Shulchan Aruch, but out of love for God, to get up at night, and to be involved, to work at serving God in the study of Torah, ad tzafra, until the morning. So this is a level of love, the level of nafshi ivisicha, which is called loving God because He is our life. Recognizing that God is our true soul, our true life. Therefore, just as a person longs and loves his life, he will long for God and love God. Now this love is an instinctive love. A person loves life not because he thinks about the wonderful pleasures of life and the virtues of life and the greatness of life. He loves life instinctively. That's the nature which is given to us from above. The same is true also in Avodah, in our spiritual life, that this love that a person feels for God, because God is our true life, this is an instinctive love. A love that we inherit from our patriarchs. Only because it is a constant condition, the love would be dormant were it not for the contemplation that makes us realize that God is our true life. So here we have elements of both kinds of love. It is on the one hand a love that comes from above, something we cannot produce on our own. Because no matter how much we contemplate the pleasures of God, it will not become equal to life itself. That is a given thing. Yet on the other hand, if there's a need for contemplation, if a person doesn't stop to remember and to realize that God is the true life, then he won't experience this love at all. Today, the second day of Iyar, the 17th day of the Eimer, is also Tiferes Sheba Tiferes. which is the birthday of the Rebbe Marash, who was born in the year Tov Kuf Tzadik Gimel. So in the Hayom Yom, the Rebbe writes that when the Rebbe Marash was 7 years old, the Tzemach Tzedek tested him in his learning. And the Zayde, the Rebbe Marash, did so well in the test that his Melamed, who was there at the time, became so excited that he couldn't contain himself. And he said to the Tzemach Tzedek, he said, "So what do you say? He does well, huh?" The Tzemach Tzedek answered, "What is the surprise? It is no surprise that Tiferes, Shebet Tiferes, does well."